Good morning. Today's kind of going to be a little different day. We're going to be doing a few different things today. We're starting our missions month in recognition of our missions month. And so we're going to be looking at different things throughout the month. Today we're going to really focus in on some of our missions trips, short-term mission trips that are going out this month, as well as some of our local ministries that we support and are partnering with. And so we want to bring those to light, want to make them aware of what's going on to you so that you can be a part of that, to know how to financially support as well as to volunteer and those kinds of things. So we're really excited about that. I love how it says, but Paul says to the Corinthian church in 2 Corinthians, one of my favorite verses, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, the new has come. He talks about our transformation that we have in Christ Jesus, that we're no longer enslaved to that old, but we are now free in Christ of who we are in him. And he goes on, and this is one of my favorite parts. All this is from God, who through Christ reconciled us to himself and gave us, listen to this, the ministry of reconciliation. That is, in Christ, God was reconciling the world to himself and not counting their trespasses against them, and entrusting to us the message of reconciliation. Therefore, we are, and many of you know this next word, right? Ambassadors. We are ambassadors for Christ. God make an appeal through us. We implore you on behalf of Christ, be reconciled to him. For he, or for our sake, he made him to be sin who knew no sin, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. That's the ministry of reconciliation, that we share the good news of salvation. Not just to be at church, not just to put on the images of Christianity, but that we would understand the power of what God did in the atonement, the power of what God did, the good news, that we might know Christ and be in him. And he goes on in chapter 6, working together with him, then we appeal to you not to receive, the grace of God in vain. For he says, in the favorable time, I listened to you, and in the day of salvation I have helped you. And then this is what Paul says by the leading of the Holy Spirit. Behold, now is the favorable time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. How powerful is that? Why is Missions Month important? Because it's a process in which we are involved as a family of God, as we continue to learn to follow Jesus together, that we as a family of God are involved in the ministry of reconciliation. Not only individually as we share with our neighbors, those we work with and family, but outside of ourselves as we look to see what God is doing in other places, whether it's through missions trips, short term, whether it's our local missions like Pomea or Mansfield Mission Center and some of the things that are going on in our community, but also our missionaries that we support on an annual basis who are doing the work of the Lord in other parts of the country. So this morning when you came in, I think on just about every other seat, there was a card just like this. It's our Faith Promise card. Every year we do this month. It's a time that we remind you of our missionaries and how we need to support them. And so we have this card here. It has on the back side of it each of the missionaries and what they're doing and why we're supporting them. And here's the way that we do this at Mansfield Bible Church. At Mansfield Bible Church, if you go into our budget, we don't have a line item that says missionaries. What we do is we ask for you to take a faith promise, to pray, to spend time asking God how he wants you to support these missionaries and these organizations, these things that we're doing, how to support them by faith. And as we collect the check for these missionaries, what we do is we tag that check and we ask you to fill that check out to the mission organization the missionary's with. Then we take that check and we send it off to the mission organization. And they'll let that missionary know, and as well as the mission organization will continue to keep contact with you. So you begin to build a relationship with not only the missionary, but also the mission organization itself. So you start finding out all the things that they're doing around the world. Like We have missionaries with Wycliffe. You begin to understand all the different things that Wycliffe does around the world. Then, as well, it allows you to continue this relationship. If God calls you somewhere else and you move, you're going to continue that relationship with them. So that's really important for us. The other thing we've done is, as we will today, in fact, by the way, on this, I almost forgot. Matt would have thrown something at me up here probably. But I almost forgot. We've got there it is, a QR code. You can tell how tech savvy I am, right? There we got a QR code. So if you don't want to mess with the card, you're one of those folks that, hey, less paper in my house is better. You can just pull that up on your phone and it'll take you to the site. It'll show you how you can as well do your faith promise online. I would ask that you would spend time praying and asking God for direction as you would support them. They're doing a great work. If you go online, a couple of our missionaries, we've been really careful with their names just because they live in such a persecuted area. So we're always really careful with them. So that's what we're going to do. Now this morning, what we're going to do specifically as we begin this month, we're going to actually look at several different mission organizations as well as our short-term mission trips. One of those that we have that is coming up is our Tanzania mission trip. This is with Greg. I went in 2019, amazing work. We go out beyond just the local area and they get out in the bush and they do a great work. Well, last year was the first time, Greg, that we added on the orphanage to Talaho. Yeah, and so here's a video that's showing you a little bit about what's going on.
I would love for you to join me on a trip to Tanzania in 2023. We're leaving June 17th. You still have time to sign up and to raise your funds. It's still plenty of time. And then we're going to not only do 2 weeks in medical missions, we're going to do a couple of weeks in ministry to an orphanage. And so let me tell you a little bit about Tanzania. Tanzania is on the east coast of Africa in the southern portion. It's on the southern hemisphere below the equator. It's a country that has a lot of need. And so when we go, there's so many opportunities to do ministry and to do special things for people. The people there are proud people. They have a lot of strong culture. And so we go and we have opportunities for the gospel as well. We usually take a team of 15 to 25 people when we go to each part of the trip. Some people go to just 1 week. Some people go 2 or 3 weeks or even all 4 weeks with us. We have medical doctors who go. We have nurses who go. But you don't have to be a nurse or a doctor to go to any part of the trip with us because we need people to help with signing people in, with taking temperature and finding out what the presenting problems are that a person has. We have people who need to help organize the pharmacy and those kinds of things. So there's always need in those areas. We also, when we're in Tanzania and doing the medical missions, that's the first 2 weeks, we partner with a group called MedReach. And we go to areas of the country where there has never been a team to go. And those places that we go may have a school building. That's about the only building that they have. And we use that building to do the medical missions. We also do a pastor's conference, which I usually teach at, and another guy also teaches. And so that goes along concurrently with the medical missions, and then we do ministry to children as well. In the evenings, we will do the Jesus movie that will go off, and 1 or 2 of us on the team will go with the team that presents and sets up the Jesus movie, and you get a chance to share your testimony, how you came to Christ with people who are interested and this may be the first movie they've ever seen, and it may be the first movie, it's definitely the first movie they've ever seen in their own language. And so it's a special time to be with them and to see what God is doing. Then we spend a couple of weeks in Talaho. In Talaho is where the orphanage is. It's been around for about 6 years. The orphanage has about 96 children, and it's in an area that's on the border of Kenya. It's in a very dry, barren place. But the people who lead this ministry, that lead the orphanage, they're amazing people. Love them very much. Jasper and Mary, they do a wonderful job of leading. They have not only elementary but secondary school. And so we're raising funds for them to not only do we go and do ministry with them, but we're also trying to help raise funds for them to be able to build staff housing and to build dormitories and more classroom space. And so we have the opportunity when we go this time, we're going to be helping to build some of the staff housing. And so that's going to be exciting as well. We've raised some money for it, and so now we're going to be able to go and help them actually do the construction. We will, if you come and are able to teach children, we have opportunities for that. If you'd like to teach the teachers, we have some plans for that as well. We go each time, and the ministry looks a little different for each time that we go, but it's a wonderful opportunity. Tanzania. I never thought that I would be in Tanzania. A couple of years ago, I went and fallen in love with not only the country, but with its people. And so I want to encourage you to, at the very least, pray for Tanzania. Pray for those who are going. We have a growing team right now that is planning to go. And so I'm looking forward to maybe a few more of you that would like to join us. So put it on your calendar, pray about it. Pray for us and pray for the people of Tanzania.
So they will be leaving here in June, and there's different opportunities to be able to go on this trip. You could go for the whole 4 weeks. There's 2 weeks in the bush, and then 2 weeks at the orphanage. I'm sorry. They can go. Where if you can only go for 1 week, they can work those things out. Where you can go to just 2 weeks. Some are choosing just to go to the orphanage, or some are just choosing to go to the bush. And it's a great experience. Opportunities are there. I would encourage you to stop by the table out in the lobby. One of the things they're doing is they're collecting clothes for the children at the orphanage. If you have any clothes that you're getting rid of with the children, that would be a great place to drop them off at. There's an opportunity out in the lobby as well. So if stop by there, become a prayer partner, and get to know them a little better. I'm excited about the next one because, go ahead and come on up, Susan, we're talking about Operation Christmas Child. If you know Susan Buckles, and I have mic 3, I don't know if that makes a difference. Oh, there we go. If you know anything about Susan, she does not like to talk in front of people. And she didn't give her a mic, and she doesn't even like that. And I was joking with her this morning, and she says, oh, if I can talk about OCC, I don't mind. So here she is. So Susan, will you just take a moment and kind of tell us the overview of just what Operation Christmas Child does and so forth?
OCC is a part of Samaritan's Purse. Many of you have heard of that organization. It's run by Franklin Graham, Billy Graham's oldest son. And Operation Christmas Child is one of the arms of that ministry. And their job is they're an evangelistic outreach to children all around the world. We pack up shoe boxes. This year they packed over 10 million. And in the 30 years they've been in existence, we've packed 200 million shoe boxes. So they send them around the world to kids in different countries, and the kids get to hear the gospel. And those that would like to also get to be involved in a 12-week discipleship program after that.
Yeah.
So it's evangelistic.
Do you have, you want to tell them about the slide? You go ahead and put that slide up. Kind of talks a little bit about that.
Okay, this is every 24 hours what happens with OCC. 24,000, almost 25,000 people hear the gospel all year long. 11,000 enroll in the Greatest Journey, which is the discipleship program I talked about. Almost 6,000 commit to pray and share with their friends. 6,500, 6,400 accept Jesus every 24 hours of the year. And 8,139 graduate from the Greatest Journey. That means they go all the way through the discipleship program. When they do that, they have a little graduation ceremony, and they give them a Bible in their own language. So this is every 24 hours.
So take a moment with this slide, because when I saw this slide, it made me stop and go, oh, wait a second, they don't get all the boxes at December 25th. They are shipping year round. because these boxes will have to go, they have to fly. Some of them go by boats and then smaller boats to get out to the villages and the different places in the bush. And it takes time as they continue to do that. So this happens year round. So that's why when you see the 24-hour, every 24 hours, that's why it's every 24 hours. It isn't just the month of January. This is year-round ministry that's going on as our boxes go out and are distributed and people are impacted by the gospel. So please understand that. So when you talk about Operation Christmas Child at Mansfield Bible Church, you're talking about a year-round ministry. Isn't that right, Susan? You want to explain a little bit of that, what you guys are doing?
We collect things for boxes all year round. Almost every Tuesday, we're out in the Portable F at 10 o'clock, and we're either gathering supplies or making crafts or things like that. We collect them all during November, right, the week before Thanksgiving. That's when we collect all the boxes worldwide that we're going to send out. But there's a lot of preparation that goes into that. So we shop all year round. We collect things all year round. This year we're going to have an extra packing party or two. Last year we had 2 different ones, one in July and then one in November, but we're going to try to do that a little more often. And so it goes on and on and on.
Yeah. So here's what I would like for you to do today. I would encourage you to take time to stop out here at the table in the lobby. If you can't do it today, the table's going to be up throughout the month. And stop and find out ways that you can be involved in helping with Operation Christmas Child. There's lots of ways. There's a list out there of things that you can help get as they put together the different parts of for the boxes. They need people that put the little fishing gear together. They need people to put little different things that they put in the boxes. It's a year-round process that they do every year, month by month, in order for us to be able to send out. We sent out 2,000 and
a little over 2,000.
A little over 2,000 last year. And you can be a part of that. You can be involved financially. Let's say you're not one of those that likes to shop, but you want to support financially. You can do that. Any one of the missions that we're talking about today, whether it's Tanzania or Operation Christmas Child, any one of them, you go to the giving page on our website, there's a drop down where you can go in and specifically give to that. You can do that for Operation Christmas Child as well, and they'll go out and buy the different items. And there's also a page that if you stop at the table out there, you can sign up for on Facebook. We didn't get the app going, did we, for that? We did. Man, I'm so on top. Again, I'm very illiterate when it comes to new technology. So now there's an app they can sign up for. So when they're out, they find these little cells and it can go out. If you're somebody that be interested in that, get signed up for that, and that app will be there and it can direct you to those cells. Is there anything else?
We also have some bookmarks out there that have our goal for this year on it, which is 2,500 shoeboxes. So take a bookmark, hang it on your refrigerator, or tape it to your mirror, just so you can pray for the kids, for this ministry. That's a great thing that you can do for us too. He's laughing because he thought 2,000 was a lot. And somebody asked me this week, do you think we should do 2,500? And I said, yes, because I don't think we can do that. Only God can do that. So we try to set goals that we know only God can do that. I can't collect enough stuff for 2,500 boxes, but God can.
Yeah. Thank you, Susan, so much. She wasn't here the week that I got on my knees and begged you all to bring stuff in so we can get the boxes done. But 2,500, yes, we can do that. That's awesome. So if we're going to reach 2,500, we need all of you. And if 200 people, that's what I said last time, 200 people did 10 boxes, 2,000 is not hard, right? So add a couple boxes. We can knock it out this year, guys. All right, so our next highlight, the ministry we want to highlight is Poimia. Poimia deals with human trafficking. So many times we begin to start thinking that human trafficking's out there somewhere, but it's in our neighborhood. It's in things, and I think you guys at Mansfield Mission Center sometimes have to deal with that, right? And so there's a lot that goes on. So we partnered with them, I think, in about 4 years ago, 2018, I believe it was, and started becoming a site in this area. And they're going to explain that on the video. If we'll go ahead and start that.
Poema Foundation is a human trafficking prevention and resource center. They have many goals to empower survivors through a safe house, engage communities through outreach, and to educate the public through different education resources that they have through trainings online as well.
I'd like to tell you a little bit about the outreach we do on anti-human trafficking. We meet right here at Mansfield Bible Church. We're the Mansfield campus that goes out for Poema. We go on the fourth Saturday of the month between 10 and 1. We meet at the church and make our assignments for our routes, and each car should have 4 people. There's 4 different jobs. We need drivers that enjoy driving, and that's their one job. They maneuver us around to the different establishments. We have a recorder. They write down intel information that will help us find the missing kids. And then we also have presenters, 2 of those in the car, or we also share in helping to write down the intel, but we share these posters around in different establishments, hotels, fast food restaurants, 7-Elevens, things like that, places where people could have seen our missing young people. And so we're looking for people that have a heart for kids, for young people that want to help make a difference in bringing missing children home. We need not only people that want to make a commitment to come every month, but we also need people that would just like to come in sporadically and fill in or help out as needed. So we'd encourage you, if you're interested in that, to come see us at the booth and we can explain more about what we do. The other thing that we really encourage people to do is pray. You can follow Poema on Facebook or Instagram. You can follow one of us that does have social media where we share posters. We always encourage people to pray. We know that God is the one that's behind this ministry. He's the one that helps us bring these kids home. It takes a community of eyes and ears looking and listening, and it's this anonymous tip line that brings information so that the detectives can go out and find the kids, but it's God behind it all. And so we ask you to pray for us, pray for the missing kids. And we know that God has been behind this ministry since it started at this church in 2018. And we know he's brought in the different workers. We are going through a time where a lot of our committed people have moved on. Some have retired, some have moved on to other things. So we are looking for new people to be able to carry the ministry out, since it is a team.
Yeah, perfect. So if, like Kathy said, if you're interested or you feel led to come pray with us or to sign up to learn more about our ministry, come see us at the booth out in the lobby and we'll be happy to share more information.
So folks, I think one of the ministries of Mansfield Bible Church that's sometimes not as well known is this ministry. So on the 4th Saturday of every month, as they were mentioning, they go out and they need 4 people. They need someone that'll drive. They need someone that'll stay in the car and pray, and sometimes that's the driver. Driver will drive and pray, or sometimes it's the other person. And then they have one person that's just looking out for things that doesn't fit in the environment. So if you're at a very, very cheap hotel and you're driving a $100,000 car, that doesn't fit. So they might get a license plate number. They might get that information. They have a good relationship, Poema does, with local law enforcement, and they communicate that information. And then 2 people will actually go inside and they visit different establishments in our area. They take in the posters and they simply ask them, have you seen any of these kids? And there's been a lot of opportunities, even in our local area, where they have found kids and helped kids or different people to get out of those situations. They have a home where they can go for a time. As you can imagine, that's very expensive to have the kind of leadership that home needs, and the kind of care and the counseling and all that's involved in that process. It's an amazing ministry. So one of the things right now is probably we're the lowest on those folks that go out every month. We need more people to be able to continue to do that. We are the location in this area for Poema to go out in this area. If you're interested, please stop by the table. You have to go through a training before you can actually go out. You can't just show up. If they know that you're coming, they can do those things and help you get prepared. Stop out at the table, take a look. It's a worthy ministry, and all of us can be involved in that one way or another. Again, on the drop down, there's an opportunity as well if you want to support this ministry as well. One of the, and you can also become a prayer partner as well, so be sure to stop by the table. One of the ministries that I'm always excited about is Mansfield Mission Center. Lindsay, you want to go ahead and come on up? Mansfield Mission Center, the way I came to learn about Mansfield Mission Center is back in 2016, when it was still called Wesley Mission Center, I believe at the time. And let me give that to you for just a second. And I joined this class or program called Leadership Mansfield. And in Leadership Mansfield, Carmen was in that class and began to tell me about it. I began to learn more, and I've just watched this ministry grow. I can't even begin. There was one time I could probably label all the ministries and kind of figure out the different categories. And it's grown so much now, I just can't even begin to do that. So Lindsay's here to kind of just give us a little brief about what Mansfield Mission Center is all about.
Yes, thank you so much for having us today. I will say there are, as he was naming off on his hands, that he used to be able to name all of the things that we're doing, but he did come to me before service and tell me that my time was very limited.
Yeah.
But I do
We're
want to
doing
give
good,
you
though. We
a
are doing
brief
good.
summary. Okay, good. So at Mansfield Mission Center, our vision is really to have a community where every person thrives, where every person has the ability to live their life to the fullest as God intended. And so we are here to work to try to make resources and relationships to help that happen. And so a few examples of that would be our free medical clinic, where we provide health care to uninsured adults who live or work and worship in Mansfield. So people can come and receive quality health care. We have women's wellness, and we have vision care. So anyone in the community who is in need of that can come visit us for those services. We also have a free food market, so families or individuals can come and shop for healthy, nutritious food. They are also offered pet food and hygiene items, really whatever you and I would go purchase at the grocery store, they're able to come to our market and get those things at no cost. And then we also offer financial and employment services. So if a family or an individual comes across a hard time, maybe due to a medical issue or a sudden job loss, and they're needing help to get to the next step, they're able to come and work with our coaches. We can get them out of that emergency or that crisis, but then not only do we stop there, we really want to stay with them and journey with them on their path until they can get back to thriving, whatever that looks like for their family. And then we have our thrift store. So our thrift store is a place where families who are in need of items, household items, clothing, they're able to come and get those items for no cost. So we encourage the community to come shop at our store, and that provides about half of our overall funding, and that goes back to all of these other programs that I've talked about today. But if there are families or individuals who are in need of those items, they are able to be provided a gift certificate so that they can come in and shop for any of those items that they need.
Awesome. So like when we've done food drives here, where the children's ministry has done a food drive, this is where the food is going most of the time. In fact, I would say all the time, if Donna was in here, I'd ask her to confirm. But that's where it's going. So you've been involved in this ministry sometimes without even knowing it. Many of you have volunteered there. I know Eric has volunteered there, helped in their clinic. And so there's lots of opportunities in this field, in this area of volunteering and being involved in. And the thing that caught my heart about this ministry wasn't just that everybody comes through the door, we just give them something. They do that. But they're not trying to do where they continue in this kind of a lifestyle. Their goal is to take people out of that lifestyle, that they might thrive and live life in a productive way. So they're doing everything they can through that process. And there's a lot of things that cause that in different people's lives. And their goal is to be able to do that. And I know she has a story to share with us on that.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. I got to see several familiar faces in here, and I talked to many of you this morning before service out at our table that stopped by. Lots of volunteers. I know we had a large group of you out at our community garden. That was one of our new initiatives last year, and all of that fresh produce and food goes straight to the shelves of our market. I've come in here and loaded up my car where it's over the stage of cereal boxes. And then, yes, lots of volunteers in our clinic. So we're so grateful for the partnership over the years, for the volunteers and what you all provide to the Mission Center. But I will share in recent weeks a story that we had at our clinic. And there was a gentleman who was looking for work in Mansfield. And so he went through the interview process and was hired at a large local company here in town. And as he was onboarding to begin his new job, one of the last steps was to complete an eye exam. And unfortunately, he was not able to pass his eye exam. So that was going to be a barrier to starting employment. So he didn't have insurance or the financial stability to be able to see an eye doctor. So the company referred him to the Mansfield Mission Center clinic, where our eye doctor was able to see him, complete the eye exam, get him in a pair of glasses, all at no cost to him. He was able to then go back the following week, complete the last step, pass the eye exam at his employer, and was able to start work.
Man.
So it's stories like that that we're so grateful to the
Yes.
community and to our partnerships for the continue to be able to do that.
Yeah, how awesome. And so that's the beauty of this partnership. When we have someone that comes, it's interesting, we'll have someone come to the door and they'll tell us their need. And one of the questions I always ask is, have you been to the Mansfield Mission Center? And a lot of times they'll say, yes, but they couldn't help me. And I'll go, well, we're not going to be able to help you either, because I know the process in which they're going through, that this person, in order not to get help, has to refuse the next steps. And there's a process in getting out of this lifestyle, and they're committed to doing that, and they're committed to doing the hard things and walk through these life changes with people, and I'm just always so excited for them and thankful for them. So when we send somebody to them, there's a cost in doing that. So like for an interview, I know a few years ago, I think it was like $300, and I'm sure it's changed even now. So at Mansfield Bible, what we're trying to do is we're committing ourselves to try to pay $500 towards the Mission Center every month, and we'd like to see that increase. If you'd like to be a part of seeing that increase, you can do a drop down again, and there's Mansfield Mission Center, and we can pass that along to them as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you all so much. We really appreciate the continued support over the years and look forward to our partnership.
Well, we appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Thank you. Be sure to stop by their table. I was trying to make sure there's little points. Also, if you're a leader of a small group and you're looking for a volunteer opportunity, there's things out there about how your group could volunteer, and you could do that as a kind of as a group project, if you would, to volunteer and serve in a local ministry. One of our other mission trips that we have short term, we've been going to Ecuador for several years. So this morning we have a video about that trip that's coming up this summer.
This year will be the 4th mission trip to Ecuador, and we are looking forward to returning. You can be a part of this year's team as well. There is still time to join us this summer. When we go to Ecuador, we serve the Quechua people with One Heart Global Ministries in the villages around Riobamba. We typically visit 3 or 4 different villages during the week. There are multiple projects that we do depending on the needs of the people. We have helped build churches, served in soup kitchens, held pastors' conferences, and hosted children's ministries and the boot ministry. This year, we will be doing the boot ministry again, where we wash the feet of the children and give them new socks and a pair of rain boots. After they get their boots, we then spend time sharing the gospel with them and then spend time playing. We are also taking reading classes to help the people in the community see so they can read the Bibles we have taken in the past. We may also help a community with a building project one day we are there. This is a great trip for families or for your first mission trip out of the country. Taking our children with us on this trip has been a special time each year, serving God together as a family. The first year, they were very unsure how they would communicate with the children in Ecuador. However, they found that they could still play without using words as they played soccer or volleyball, blew bubbles, and ran races against each other. Seeing all the smiles on the children's faces is very heartwarming. This year we are going to Ecuador in July of 2023. We are still collecting donations for items to take with us as we go to spend the week. We are always seeking prayer support. Please pray for the hearts of those we will be in contact with and for safe travels. Again, it's not too late to join us if you're interested. Come talk to us about how you can support the trip or if you're interested in going with us.
How awesome is that? Now, Ecuador has become very much close to our hearts over the years. We started going in the past, and I know we went through a process of training some local pastors there in Ecuador, and we have continued to do that. I know last year we were going to go and then couldn't at the last minute because of some different things that were going on in the country, and it wasn't a good time to go. And so this year we're looking forward to being able to go again in the month of July. We could use more team members on that team. Obviously, the more team members we have, the more opportunities we have to serve. And I believe, and I don't see, we're collecting items, and I don't know if it's socks. I believe it's socks, but I don't remember. Yes, okay, thank you. Sorry, you're sitting right there. I should have been able to see that, Heather. But yeah, so we're collecting socks. So you can buy socks for children's sizes varied, and you can bring them up here to the church so that they could collect as well if you'd like to be a part of that. I would encourage you to consider going and maybe stop by the table and find out what that would take or what that would look like. And mark it on your calendar. Start praying for them. And also, as I mentioned, all these others, you can go to drop down. There's an opportunity to give for that ministry as well. Now, our last one that I want to bring up this morning is our trip that's going to Kenya. It's a Kenya's mission trip. If Lindsay and the team would come on up. All of y'all come on up. They're going to a orphanage, Naomi's Village, in Kenya, and they've got some different projects and so forth they're doing. Get up here. Yeah, I mean, like he was going to try to avoid that, wasn't he? Isn't that amazing? Come on over here for a second, girls and guys. And yeah, stand over here. So this is most of the team. There's a couple not here, but this is most of the team. Will you just take a moment and kind of share about what you guys are going to be doing?
Yeah, so we're the last one, so be alert. There's nobody after us today. So if you're like,
darn, you had to tell her.
11:30, I know. This team was actually birthed 3 or 4 years ago when the Miles family went to Naomi's Village. And their family had a really meaningful and great experience, and Jonah, their oldest son, came back and said, as a 9th grader, I want to go back after I graduate. And he recruited his friend, Micah, who now lives in Florida, and was like, they committed. 3 years from now, we're going back. And it came up again this last summer as they headed into their senior year that they wanted to go to Africa. And so there were a couple of conversations that happened, and out of that commitment 3 years ago is a team that's going to Africa. So we're super excited about that. We're going to be going at the end of May for about 12 days, and we're going to be at Naomi's Village. There's a couple things that we've been really happy partnering with Naomi's Village because they basically came to us and said, how do you want to serve? And our sweet spot is Bible and community. And so they're letting us go out into the community and build bunk beds for families who do not have beds and water tanks for families who do not have clean water. And they're also letting the youth lead Bible every night for all the kids at the orphanage. So we're super excited about that. That is how we're going to be serving.
Yeah, that's awesome. What are some ways that we can help? You're about half funded, is that correct, for the whole team?
Yeah, so we're about half funded. As you'll notice, there's several people here who have at least 2 people in their family going. So it's about $3,000 a person to be able to go. And so we're doing a couple of things. Out at our booth, we have a silent auction. We're actually giving away an Airbnb weekend, which is going to be fun. Jonah has used his skills to build a, what's it called? Cornhole. Thank you. And we're also going to be hosting here a party fundraiser. So you can actually come for free. If you're a serious, don't worry, we actually have a separate viewing for you where you don't have to talk to anybody. You can only watch seriously every moment of the game. If you are a social viewer, we have a place for you as well. You can be in with all of the people and all of the food and talk the entire time and not see 1 minute of the game. So we have lots of options. Halftime, we're gonna do a live auction. We thought it would be really fun to actually get some things out where you get to do a live auction, bidding for dessert, because we know Valentine's Day is 2 days later. You'll also have an opportunity if you want to fund some of the projects. Like if your family gets excited about a bunk bed and you're like, you know what, we would love to fund a bunk bed for a family. We would love for you to do that, and we'll be able to take a picture of that family for you. We're also gonna bring some Swahili Bibles so that we can leave them with a Bible as well. So if those are some things that you get excited about, we would love to be able to help you serve in that way. Also, just to make the party work and go well, we're doing a chili cook-off. So if you're like, I can do chili, come and bring chili. If you are like, I don't really do chili, but I do dessert, we would love for you to donate dessert that we can use at our live auction. And if you're like, I really don't want to do any of those things and I just want to cover the rest of their trip so they can all go, I mean, I don't want to stop you from doing that either. So you've got lots of options. But either way, we really desperately would just love your prayers. And I do actually have a prayer chain that is going, so every week or couple of weeks we send you updates, praises, what's going well, how prayers have been answered, and then things that we have coming up on our team. So if any of those things sound like, hey, I want to participate in that, we would love that. So thank you.
That's awesome. So just so you know, okay, serious football watchers, all right? We watch it in here. We have the big screen, and nobody talks. Well, that's not true. We yell for the team, but nevertheless, if you're serious, but if you like to socialize, it'll be over in the link. There'll still be the game up there, but they're the ones that like to kind of check out what's going on, but they're more interested in visiting. There's a flyer out on her table, on Kenya's table, that you can get, and it'll tell you how you can help and support, whether it's through bringing a chili for the contest or for the auction during the halftime, whatever it may be. You can get that, pick that up, and be sure to do that. Again, they're about half supported, so they're still looking for quite a bit of support as it comes down to the next 2 or 3 months. You can go on to our website. You can follow that QR code as well, and you can go there and there's a drop down and you can do Kenya missions trip, and then you can support them as that way as well. Or talk to them at the table. There's lots of opportunities. We're really excited about it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate each of you. All right. Well, I hope today that you learned. We're going to end with a song. The praise team, you might as well go ahead and come on up. We're going to end with a song and a praise and to God for his time. I encourage you, I always pray, this is the way I pray for our church. I pray, God, teach us how to move from our seats out into the ministry. Let us never see walls. Let us understand the community. Let us understand our world. Let us never be shy about sharing the ministry of reconciliation. Move us, God. May your Spirit speak to our hearts. May your Spirit speak to us, that we would never be satisfied just to go through the actions of a day, but that we are his people, right? We are God's people. How many times did I say that? We are God's people, and we follow him. And we're learning to follow Jesus together, and he's the one we seek after. To him be the glory and the praise and the adoration forever and ever, from everlasting to everlasting, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. He is the reason that we walk after him. He's the reason that we do the work of the ministry. Amen? Let's sing.